you how to thread up your sewing machine. Now, most of the sewing machines are very similar. They'll all thread up in the same way as when I'm doing. I always say it's like a backward end, so it's going down, up slightly, and then back down again. Right, you will have a bobbin holder. It might be one that's stuck up, it might be a metal one, it might be a plastic one. Mine does normally fall down when we put the sewing machine away. This is called a bobbin thread, and you place it on the bobbin holder. You then look on your sewing machine. There's a little hook at the back here. So if you use two hands, hook it round your first one. Don't try and do it with one hand, because then you might struggle and it'll just keep going like that. You then look to see, on my sewing machine, it's got some arrows. My arrow's telling it to go down. It's then telling it to go upwards. Then saying when you get to this thread take-up lever, which is here, you're then telling you to go round it. And then the next stage is coming back down towards the needle. I've got a big bar there, metal bar. You will have one of some kind. And then there's a tiny one just underneath where you can hardly see. Now, to thread my needle so I can get in neatly to my needle, I put my presser foot down. That is the lever here. So you gently put that down when you're using the presser foot, because you don't want to ruin your machine. Okay, so I put mine out of the way. I then get my scissors and I cut it slightly diagonally so that I get a sharp point. Then I have to thread the needle through the front. Okay, pull it out. Lift your presser foot back up, and then on your presser foot, on the foot, you've got that tiny little slit. That's where your thread goes through. Okay, so remember, it's your bobbin holder going down, so using two hands to hook it round there. If you've got arrows on, follow your arrows, so it's going down. So it's like a backward end, up, round the thread take-up lever, round the back, and thread to the needle, and then the presser foot. So I've put that back up, but I always put that away. Now I've switched my machine on so it's got the light on so you can see. As you're doing this, you do not need to put your sewing machine on. Okay, you don't need to have it switched on just to do this. Right, the next part is the spool housing. So I've got a little door here, and inside there is a spool case, and inside there I've got a spool housing. Okay, so there's a little lever here to pull it out without dropping it. If you look close up, so that's a little lever that we used to take it out. Inside, this is where your spool. So you've got your spool with your thread, same colour thread. You should be using the same colour thread. Now you have the thread dangling down on the right hand side. So think about a clock going clockwise. Place it inside the spool case. Then have a close up look. You've got a little slit there. So you find your thread, put your finger on top, pull it to where that little slit is, and then round this bit. Now yours might be gold, mine's like a darker grey colour. Pull it down the back of that so it goes around the back of this to where these little teeth are. I'll just show you that again because it can be quite tricky, so I'll pull it back out. Right, so you put it in clockwise, spin it till you find the little slit. Put your finger on top of it, stop it spinning anymore. And you're then going to pull that down. Sometimes they're easier than others. Down this silver bit there, or yours if it's gold. Okay, down to where the little teeth are, and you that little click noise. Okay, you're then going to put this back in. You're going to put it back in the way that we took it out. So we took it out this way. We don't have to use that lever, but we've got to remember that needs to be at 12 o'clock. It's got a tiny little hole. We don't need to thread that. We're going to place it back in that way. So go back into the little spool housing. Put your spool back in. And the thing is to remember to click it in place. Now with this sewing machine, I just close my door, and you're saying, oh, what's that thread doing there? Now this machine, it will automatically, when I start sewing, the thread will come up from underneath. Now your machine, you might have an older version where you might have to use the balancing wheel. Now the balancing wheel is this wheel here. This is connected to the needle and the thread take-up lever. So I'll just show you, I'll move mine. You can see the needle, so as I'm moving mine. Now your machine, as you move that and you hold this thread, it will collect underneath. It'll catch this thread from out the spool and it will pull it up. You will then have to pull it out. Now obviously I can't do that with mine because it doesn't work that way, but you can do that. Okay, now we're ready to start sewing, but I'll just explain a little bit about what the sewing machine is. So we've got a screen here that tells you the length and the width of the stitching. This is on 0, it says 0 to 5. So it's automatically, when you switch the machine, this on and off, yours might be slightly different, you might have to put a setting. It will automatically go on a straight stitch, which is number 1. On this side, it has the length of the stitches and it's set at number 2. You can adjust these and change the stitches as you wish. We've also got the number 2, which is a zigzag stitch. We tend to use that if we're doing a plique, so if we're doing like a little design that we put on top and want to stitch around it. At this stage, you don't need to use any of these other buttons. Some of these are for doing decorative stitches or for buttonhole and so on. Right. You have your piece of fabric. We're going to do a driving test. So we thread up the sewing machine, make sure it's threaded up correctly. There'll always be different things that if it doesn't work, or did I do the spool properly, did I thread it up properly, make sure all your points are covered. Make sure you've not wrapped it round this, because this section, here with a little arrow on this one, is to fill up the little spool case, to fill up the little spool, and we connect it on there. I can always show you how to do that as well, but do not connect it round there because you'll find that it won't work. If your sewing machine doesn't work, could it be something where you've not switched the machine on, have you switched it on the socket, or you haven't threaded it up properly? Okay, so I've got my piece of fabric. Now the presser foot is to hold your fabric in place to stop it from moving around. So you use your presser foot lever, put your presser foot down nice and gently. Remember to keep all your fabric on that side. Don't put it here, don't put it this way, because if you was making a big garment, you'd have all your fabric bunched in there, and that's not practical. So we always put it on there. Now one thing I'm going to do, when I start sewing, I've got one here. You might have a little button that says R on it, or it says reverse, or it might be one that you have to push up, and that's for reversing. When we start with our, when we start sewing, okay, this is your foot pedal. Make sure it does not go around that way. Make sure it's that way, because otherwise you haven't got any control over it. So you're going to put your foot on the pedal like that instead of like this. Right, I'm just going to put my foot pedal on the floor. Now I'm right footed, so I've got mine on the right side. Right, we're going to do a couple of stitches. Now when I do the first couple of stitches as well, I'm going to show you. If I do a couple of stitches, I stop. Can you see my needles up in place? This is what this button here is for. If I press that, it shows my needle down. So when I start stitching again, my needle stays down. You don't want it to pivot and thing. The other thing is when you start stitching, if you reverse back by pressing that, and I've got my foot on the pedal, okay, it's to strengthen your stitching, that's to stop it from coming out. So just gently. Now stop a little bit before the edge, because you need to. Lift my presser foot up, turn it round. There you go, in line with that, and then start sewing again. I don't do it on every side. Just gently, a little bit beforehand, in case it's stopped. Lift my presser foot up gently, put it back down. I tend to use both hands for some reason. And if you see, I'm hardly holding the fabric. So I'll go to this next one. Drop a little bit, my needle's down. Put it back down. And then remember, when I get to this end, I need to reverse again. That's to stop my thread from all coming out. So I'll get to there, got to end, I reverse a little few stitches, stop. Now my needle's down. Yeah, lift my presser foot up. I can't go like that, I'm not going to tear it out. If on mine, if I press this, or I can put my foot on the pedal and it will lift it up, or I just push mine in and that will come back up. You may need to use your balancing wheel to turn it to release the needle out of the thread. Now then you can pull it. On my sewing machine, it's got a cutter. Yours might have a cutter. If not, just cut it off using your fabric scissors. Okay. Right, I'll show you again. We'll go around once more just to show you how it can work. So I'll just cut that off to make it a little bit neater. So we'll start from this side there. Just again. Right, remember, needle down. I can see my needles down there. Reverse stitch. And then gently just go around. Just holding your fabric, just guiding it around. Don't have to hold it really tight. You see, every now and again so it's puckering, it's just pulling a little bit. I need to change my needle. You need to put a nice clean needle, fresh needle, and it's been used for a few bits. So when it starts doing that, sometimes it's your fabric that you're using. This is just some heavy cotton that I'm using. And get to the end. Right, remember I've got to reverse it. So foot on pedal, press that, a little bit, stop. Right, I'm there, all that. Needles release, or you turn your balancing wheel and pull it out and either cut it with scissors or cut it with a little cutter at the side. Remember to cut these tiny little bits off. Okay, now whilst we're here, I can show you how to thread up one of the spools out here. So when this runs out, I can show you how to do this. Okay, so mine, it will be simple, it'll be very similar. I'm going to put my spool on there. Now I'm just going to put my thread down at the back. That's to stop me having to re-thread it all back up again. If I put this white thread on my bobbin holder and I spin it round, look to see where the arrow's going. Okay, just wrap it slightly round my spool case there, a little bit, and then mine pushes on. So I push that little button onto there. And now all I'm going to do, I'm going to hold this to stop it from spinning round. I put my foot on the pedal, and as you can see, I'm holding that to stop it from jumping around like that, so that it gets it nice and even. And then just filling up my spool. I don't have to, it will just stop automatically once it's full, but I can stop myself. Pull that back off. I can then either use the scissors or use my little cutter at the side. And there you go, and I've filled my spool case up. Now, things that might go wrong with your machine. Okay, I've obviously pressed something, so I'm just going to switch it back off and back on again. Things that will go around is the fact that if you've not threaded it up properly. I also said about maybe one of these down there, so I'll just take this back out again. This is common where students catch it down there. I don't know how it happens, but they catch it down in between the little plastic. So just double check to make sure you haven't got something on your sewing machine that will help, that will do that for you. Okay, so remember, it's just threading it back up again and threading your needle, and there you go. Now, once obviously you've had a go at doing this, you've had a go at doing a little driving test, you can then start to make things. I'll do another video to show you how to maybe make some bags and so on. Okay.